Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In this video, I've got some great news for you. We're talking about Diablo 4, Yakuza, Pokemon, Sega Saturn, Pretendo, Source Engine, and some retro gaming handhelds. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off here talking about Diablo 4. There appears to have been a little bit of a leak showing off some gameplay. Almost 50 minutes worth. Interestingly enough, there was some family and friends testing going on with Diablo 4 and some footage was captured. 43 minutes to be precise. I'm not going to spoil anything here. The game does look pretty good, but if you're curious and want to check it out, I'll leave a link to the Reddit post in the description below. From there you can access the videos. Next up, I've got a quick update about Pokemon, and this one is incredibly interesting. Someone is lying here. It either makes the Pokemon Company look bad or Kit and Krista look bad. The other day we covered the news about Kit and Krista talking about the Pokemon Company thinking that Nuzlocke runs were comparable to ROM hacks. For the record, if you didn't see that video at a high level here, Nuzlocke runs are not hacking at all. It's basically a set of self-imposed rules on how you play the game. You're not changing the game, you're not modifying the game in any way, shape, or form. You're just playing a different way. Anyways, Pokemon Today responded to that. So Joe Merrick on Twitter has the official statement from TPCI. TPCI stands for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano, or it stands for the Pokemon Company Incorporated. I guess it depends on how you want to interpret that. Anyways, they say, we do not have any issues with fans or creators playing the games with Nuzlocke rules. And then Joe goes on to state, the fact is no content creator has been dismissed from any program for doing simple Nuzlocks, and TPCI has worked with many who have done them. So at this point in time, either the Pokemon Company is lying or Kit and Krista are lying. And I don't want to say I'm on Team Kit and Krista about this one, but I'm wondering why they would lie about something like this. I mean, even making that accusation or that statement hurts the relationship with Pokemon, not something they'd probably voluntarily want to do. And I could see Pokemon lying about something like this to save face. Maybe there was a breakdown in communication somewhere. Maybe the person saying Pokemon didn't have any problems with it wasn't the person that said Pokemon did have a problem with it to Kit and Krista. So I'm curious now, who do you believe, the Pokemon Company or Kit and Krista? Let me know in the comments below. Next up, we're talking about the PlayStation 5, and it appears that there's going to be a brand new version of the PlayStation 5 coming sometime this year. I would say take this rumor with a grain of salt, and I wouldn't necessarily say it's bad either. But the new version of the PlayStation 5 apparently is coming with a disk drive on the side. It's no longer going to be built into the system. I'll leave a link to this article in the description below and feel free to check it out. Now, in my opinion, this potential new iteration of the PlayStation 5 would make a ton of sense. I mean, it would streamline the manufacturing process that Sony has, possibly reducing costs, although Sony likes to jack prices, so probably not. It might make the PlayStation 5 a little bit slimmer overall, and it might also increase the overall availability of the PlayStation 5. It might be harder to get a disk drive for it. And on a quick side note about this, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of curious to see how this new potential PlayStation 5 would look with a detachable drive. Would the drive be a bolt-on monstrosity? Would it look awful, or would it look pretty cool, or would it just kind of sit on the side, also looking weird? Either way here, let's see what happens, and let me know what your thoughts about this are in the comments below. Next up, we're quickly talking about the Yakuza franchise. In an interesting move, Sega is dropping the Yakuza name and replacing it, or rebranding it, with Like a Dragon. It looks like the whole reason behind the rebrand is a little less exciting than you'd think. Sega just wants to more closely align the North American name to the Japanese name, and Like a Dragon is much more close. This is an interesting move though, considering the Yakuza series is already an established name over here in North America. But Sega does what Sega wants, and this is what Sega wants to do. Next up, we're talking about Wii U and 3DS server replacement with Pretendo. We've covered Pretendo in previous videos, and I'm very excited that they're now having another open beta test. So John from Pretendo states, time for another long-awaited public beta. As of writing this, the servers are currently open to the public. This includes game servers and JUXT, which is their Miiverse replacement. On top of that, This is going to be open until the end of the year. I will leave a link to the brand new Pretendo website in the description below, and I do recommend checking it out. From here, there's tutorials, you can see the progress, see what games work, what features work, and how things are going. For example, Super Mario Maker on 3DS works very well, but it doesn't display random courses. And for those of you wondering, the developers are trying to get Pretendo working well with Cemu. They state that Cemu support is a little bit shaky. They previously used version 1.26.2 of Cemu for the last beta, and they're hoping that it's going to work again, and this is also a great reason to beta test this out. Next up, we're talking about the unofficial version of Source Engine on Android. Source Engine version 1.14 has been released. They state here in the changelog, fixed problems with fonts in some languages, fixed problems with some touch buttons, fixed some particle bugs in Half-Life 2, and added fonts with Thai language support. And interestingly enough here, the links for Source Engine, Half-Life 2, Portal, Counter-Strike, and Day of Defeat are all Google Drive links. And there's all APK files in them. If you're curious about this and possibly want to learn a little bit more, I'll leave a link to the developer's YouTube channel in the description below where they go through coding it. There's also a link to a Discord with a community that might have some more information for you. Next up, we're talking about Sega Saturn emulation on Android with Yakuza 2. Yakuza 2 and Yakuza 2 Pro just got updates on the Google Play Store. They're up to version 1.9.4. The latest version of Yakuza 2 does bring about some bug fixes, and if you haven't updated this app in a while, it might be worth updating considering compatibility has gotten a lot better. If you are curious to see what games are compatible and what games aren't, I'll drop a link to their website in the description below and feel free to check it out. From here you can see the games as well as the number of stars to determine how good it runs on Yakuza. 5 stars runs perfectly, and you can just search for your game in here. Next up, we're talking about a retro gaming handheld, the Miyoo Mini. And there's a brand new version of the Mini UI that just released. This new update brings about some fixes, some improvements, and a really nice new feature. It's free, it's open source, it's on GitHub, and I'll leave a link to it in the description below. In this brand new version, they've added in auto-scrolling of long file names. They fixed corrupted save states when invoking the save and load via shortcut while fast forwarding. And this is the cool new feature. They've added in random game.pack to tools, so it now launches a random game. I mean, for those of you who have jam-packed a ton of games on the device and are struggling to figure out what to play, or you haven't played through a ton of the games that you have, a randomizer can come in handy and be a lot of fun. Last up, we're talking about Anbernic, and the brand new Anbernic RG353V and RG353VS are almost up for pre-order. They might already be up for pre-order by the time you're watching this video. Both of these devices use the RK3566 chip, and they do differ a little bit. The VS runs Linux only, it's got 1 gig of RAM. The V runs Linux and Android 11 and has 2 gigs of RAM. And on top of that, the V also has a touchscreen and a few more colorways. The V might be the way to go here. If I head over to the Anbernic website, I can see the RG353V and RG353VS up for order. But if I click the order button, nothing happens because they're technically not available just yet. And as for the prices of these devices, while they haven't been officially announced just yet, it's suspected that the VS is going to sell for about $100 US, and the V will sell for about $135 US, but we'll have to wait and see. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a ton today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely anything in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos, don't tempt fate, save your state.